This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol Live, where I just realized I didn't put a shirt on. It's sun's out, guns out. Welcome. I mean, I'm wearing a wife beater. I'm not, for those of you that might be listening to the podcast audio, I'm not like sitting here with my titties out. But usually I hide my hairy shoulders. I've been busy today. Welcome to the Troll Patrol. It's a freaking Sunday. Good evening, Warlord, Dustin, Clinically. Whoa, ho, 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 Warlord. The term wife beater is a colloquial term for an A shirt in America, and it comes from Third. Well, who are the other two? Like, I might agree with you. There are streamers. Apparently, Warlord is leaving me for Chainsaw. There are far worse people you can be left for. Third. Wow, I shaved my head for this. Yes, Warlord, I'm bald. Everybody can see that. I'm freshly bald. Watch when I'm freshly shaved, I'll rub my head a lot. That happens. Apparently, like, I got some blotchy shit going on my face. Oh, I love those pictures from the American LARP event. Warlord posted those in the Discord. But no, that's not what we're here to talk about tonight. You guys want to find out what that news be doing? Me, I'm shaving my shoulders. I'm self-conscious about I shave my shoulders. And every time I do the Homer Simpson song, shaving my shoulders, getting it all shaved off. Oh. This is a serious show. We got serious shit to talk about. Fuck. It was a rough one. I'm at the final battle of Final Fantasy 16, in case anyone was wondering. I'm gonna go to the pot store on Wednesday, so I probably will not beat it until Wednesday or Thursday. I'm gonna get a dab rig this week. I think a dab rig would be good. You guys want to see me actually take a proper dab on stream, don't you? Venus, good evening. Purgatorus. Everybody here tonight. Everybody coming to my house. Fuck Nazis. Hell yeah. Beautiful people. Look at all you beautiful people here just in time. Once again, I apologize. We're suns out, guns out today because I just didn't realize I didn't put a shirt on. If my hairy shoulders offend you, please tell me. I will go and put a shirt on. I meant to. I do not usually, because you can even see my hair like coming out my fucking sides over here. I'm a hairy dude. And that's why, like, when I was shaving my head, I'm like, my God, I have hair fucking everywhere except the top of my head. What the fuck is wrong with me? It's actually a bit that I do on stage where, because I think it's really funny if I pull my shirt up, like, it's an opening bit I do where I'm like, I don't believe in evolution anymore, and the reason why is because I'm devolving. I'm turning back into a monkey. Don't believe me? Look at this shit. Some people have a happy trail. I have a happy fucking forest. Had a friend in high school who called me the ass fro. We're not on Twitch, sir. We're on Kick. Reporting on all platforms. Had a friend in high school that called me the Astro. So you can imagine what it looks like back here. Poof. I just got back. I've been enjoying my vacations. Tomorrow we're coming back with the freaking news. You got a brand spanking hot off the presses freaking news. Haven't done one like half a year. Pussy. Well, Venus. You talk like that.
You live in sexual anarchy.
Oh my god, I had it. Did I save it? Hold on, let me go get it. I just shared it out on Facebook. So I had a guy hit me up on Grindr last night, and the interaction's kind of humorous. So he's the one that hit me up. And I'm like, hey, dude, what's going on? He's like, I'm fine. What are you looking for? And I'm like, oh, I'm open-minded. You're really cute. So he was Asian. I've never been with an Asian guy before. So, like, that's kind of one of those things that's like, oh, a little exotic. Okay, we can go with that. So you got something in mind? And he's like, oh, let's exchange contacts. We'll keep in touch. I'm looking for new friends here. I hope to have more friends, and a true relationship in the process of finding friends is my ultimate goal. And I was like, oh, I thought you wanted to show me your dick. I misspelled thought, though. I left the T off because I was, really high.
You live in sexual anarchy.
Here's your meme of the day. Southern sheriffs in the 50s. The left is the television depiction of Andy Griffith. Right is what it was actually like. Southern sheriffs in the 50s. This is a documented fact. Come at me. I dare you. I had a dude argue with me for a good portion of the fucking day. Like, you really want to piss some people off, all you gotta do is be like, Elon Musk is a dumb fuck. And people get so upset. Elon Musk simps are wild. So the dude told me that Elon Musk came from nothing. And I have never laughed my ass off so hard in my life. And I said, dude, his dad owned an emerald mine. What are you talking about? His mom was a fucking model. And the guy was like, the emerald mine had nothing to do with Elon. He came here broke and he had college debt and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, he was throwing around pockets full of emeralds at people. And he's like, you believe that? I'm like, Elon's the one that said it. So the dude responds to that, was like, oh, well, he was just being braggadocious then. I'm like, okay, so he was lying then, but he's telling you the truth now when he says he came from nothing. Because, like, I showed him, I was like, Earl Musk was like, Elon owes everything to that emerald mine. And the dude was like, Earl Musk is a liar. And, dude, Elon Musk did not come from nothing. That assertion is just batshit fucking crazy. Especially to say to somebody who is the son of a fucking trucker, the grandson of a coal miner from Eastern Kentucky. These people, they're fucking nuts. Alright, but you came here to find out what that news be doing, not what I've been doing all day. Not what I've been wasting time not doing my work on all day. We've got multiple profanity-laced rants we're going to hear now. This is my kind of show. Multiple sporting events contain profanity-laced tirades. Go to apparently a Yankees game where one of the managers cussed out a fucking umpire, and I think the camera catches it. We're going to get to hear that. And then a UFC fighter was throwing around a lot of N-bombs. Dana White was asked about it in a press conference, and Dana White was like, what the fuck, he's black. I fucking hate Dana White, but like, he might be right on that one. The real reason I'm bringing up UFC is just because Trump made an appearance, got cozy with Joe Rogan. We got video of that, and apparently had a little incident with Guy Fieri. Columnist Peggy Noonan is going to detail an encounter that she had with an elected lawmaker on Capitol Hill. And it's kind of funny. We won't spend too much time on it, but I think it's a funny little anecdote. Now, what's really funny, we probably will spend a lot of time on, is Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani has a radio show, guys. Apparently, he called his listeners very stupid. As I understand it, he called his listeners very stupid.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
You know what grinds my gears? Originally here on the Troll Patrol, I had formulated a segment, and it was called Reefer and a Rant. And it started the top of this was early on in the Troll Patrol. Fuzzy face. And I would start out like I would not be high yet, and I would rant about something while I was getting high, and that was kind of the gist of it. But like usually I'd trail off and not be upset about things. You know, that kind of thing happened. I think this is video from this past weekend. But we had a lot of shit to talk about on past shows, so I didn't get a chance to play it. Lindsey Graham, which I mean, this is from like Ari Melber from last night or something, or not before last. But I think he's talking about Lindsey Graham from last weekend, going on the campaign trail with Donald Trump, and Trump mocks him to his face. A January 6th sat down for an interview with CNN, and apparently detailed how Trump brainwashed her. I'm very interested to hear about that. I did not talk about this the other night. I think it was already going on, and it's something I thought about having thoughts on Thursday, but I didn't go into it. But now she said something else, so I've got to. Anna Kasparian of the Young Terfs. Warlord claims to have come up with that, but that's kind of an obvious joke. I think a lot of people have made that one. Just saying, buddy. I still love you. I love you very much. But Anna of the Young Terfs, because it's just so good. So when you're like me writing stand-up, right? There's a joke I tell. I was telling it on stage until, you do enough open mics and you realize, oh, that's a really common joke. People tell that a lot. Now, mine's the best telling of it. Now, I took it out of my act. When I do it, I'm like, well, mine's the best telling of it, though. But it's one of those things that's so obvious somebody had to come up with it. Like, okay, I had this fucking strike of brilliance the other day. Serial killer. Cereal. Serial killer. So I was thinking like I've never listened to the podcast Serial, but I was thinking like this little skit or something, like however that podcast opened, like this week on Serial, blah, blah, blah. But then it's going to turn out that like it's a podcast about cereal that kills people. Like maybe there's a fucking some kind of sharp object inside the cereal that kills them, or maybe it's a box that had like I haven't fully fleshed out the idea, right? I just got the little kernel. I was like, maybe there's a box of cereal. It's got arms and shit, and stabbing people. That would be funny. So I was like, that play on, but like that's so obvious. Somebody's had to do that before. So like I'm at the same time praising myself for my genius idea, but like there has to be something that exists like that. I think because it's too it's too easy. It's too right there. And one of the things that I pride myself on with my comedy is that I'm not like anybody else. You don't usually hear jokes like other than the Trojan joke. Over cereal. What fake news did I spread? I have no the fake news is that I don't even know. I can't even make a joke. I was gonna say that I'm not high enough for this shit, but that don't make fucking sense. Venus, apparently they are bringing back all of the monster cereals this year, the Frankenberry, and I think you're even going to. I think you're getting like one that they haven't had, like Fruity Mummy or something like that hasn't been around in 5 or 6 years. I think you're getting that back this year. It's like all of their, and they've got like a special one with all the marshmallows. Alan Partridge did it 30 years ago. What did Alan Partridge do? Also, is that like Partridge Family Partridge, or is that somebody? Am I confused? I haven't watched the Partridge Family in fucking years. I used to love that show. My God, you just made that pop in my, like, the song. Come on, get happy. Popped in my fucking head. I haven't thought about that in fucking 20, 25, 30. When was it playing on Nick at Night? That was the last time I thought about the Partridge Family. 30 fucking years ago. It probably was 1993. Fucking Danny Bonaducci. Anyway, what was I talking about? God damn it, I did it again. I muted the audio and not my microphone. I'm a dumbass. Total professional over here. I was thinking, like, I applied for a job with the TV stations over here down the street. They never called me back. Like, I'm so, like, insanely qualified for the position. It's not even funny. I'm like, did I not get a call back because they think I'm going to be asking too much money? And I probably would be. At this point in time, I'm not going back to work for a TV station for $10 an hour. I mean, like, I've thought about applying for TYT. It's completely across the country is one of the things. No, I mean, I would rather work, you know, be a cameraman or a producer or blah, blah, blah for TYT than I would for, you know, fucking going to work for Sinclair or Nexstar. The Sinclair stations that fucking Elon Musk shares out the video, like, goddamn. God, it was from like 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. It was never my dream to be a porn star. I would edit porn. I'm totally down to edit porn, and I've now had one client that I edited some porn for, but like I did not like him. Like, Elon Musk shares this fucking video out constantly. But like makes it seem like it's liberal media all being programmed, but it's Sinclair Broadcasting and they're a far right station.
Does it matter who owns your local TV station?
Yes.
While polls show Americans are increasingly worried about so-called fake news.
A train derailment in Tennessee.
No, where's the video?
Maintenance has led to a squabble.
We have some breaking news to tell you about. This is out of Bethesda tonight.
Night after night, the country's largest owner, Sinclair stations across the
Condoning.
and again, this report.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become
this
too common on social media.
This weekend, the online site Deadspin created this compilation of dozens of Sinclair's local newscasters recording an identical promo accusing the national media of spreading fake news.
And agenda controlling exactly what.
And that's Sinclair Broadcasting. They're a far-right fucking whack job outlet. But Elon Musk shares that out like once every couple of months and is like, see what the liberal media is doing to you? But I would much rather work for TYT than a station that does that kind of bullshit, right? I don't know. But I was thinking about the fact that like I never heard back. Like this has been 3 or 4 months and I'm like so amazingly qualified for the position. I just assumed they didn't want to pay me 60 or 70 grand. That's really what I would ask. Like, you want me to, like, I fucking love working from home. I love doing what I do independently and being able to tell people to go fuck off. I do quite often. I should, man. I was doing a voiceover for this UFC channel. But as you guys know, I'm not very good at pronouncing names that are not American. And they hit me with a lot of revisions, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. Because, well, I did the revisions, that's fine with me. But then they were like, oh, no, do it again. I'm like, I looked up how to say this name. If you're telling me I'm still saying it wrong, then, like, this just isn't the job for me, and I don't have time for this shit. But I feel bad about how rude I was to the dude. Because he was so super nice to me. The entire time he was so super nice and so complimentary. So I feel bad that I was a dick to him. I am a failure. Warlord, I kind of am. There's a lot of people that would tell you that I never lived up to my potential. The engineer at my college was like, I should be walking up to your mansion. You should be a millionaire in a few years, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about money, though. And I don't think about that when I'm doing, I make commercials. I make corporate promos and shit for people. It's hard for me to think about the marketing aspect of things. Well, I was talking to my friend about it. If you really want to know, we might be getting into too much info at this point in time. Like, I like, my buddy was like, oh, if I miss the moment, I can't come. I'm like, I can come. Like boom, come everywhere. Like fucking, it's just all over the place. Like I never have a problem with not being able to come to completion. And he's like, oh man, that must be wonderful. I do not know where I was going with this. I should probably just do the news. Oh, you were asking me if I was good. No, I always make sure that I give, I want to, I genuinely enjoy, and this is way to, no, this is where Maynard's not impressed. One of these days, I want to get a co-host for this. I would really like if I found a content creator. I think I matched with one on Tinder, but she never messaged me back. If I found like a content creator that wanted to be co-host of the Freak Show, and then I can help her film her shit, and then we could I've got other ideas for shows, and I would like to do a troll patrol that's sex oriented. A show like this that's sexually oriented. Exactly. News stories. We got news for you. What that news be doing? We got to start out with a content warning. What an abrupt turn this took. Oh, God. Also, like, once again, I covered a story about a young man who had been missing for 8 years. It's just more and more shit keeps coming out. Like, it is, like... I didn't give you guys the update. Sounds like I'm trying to get scammed on Tinder. No, I want to find a partner in crime. A relationship of sorts. And we can help each other. You know, I need to listen to Knowledge Fight. I've heard a lot of people say a lot of good things about him. Because that's the one that's kind of like the Info War. Like, it's supposed to be like almost a parody of Info Wars. News. To know what the top story is, it's a day that ends in Y in the United States, so it's just another day in mass shooting, USA.
First and foremost, we want to acknowledge all the victims of last night's mass shooting that happened here in the Warehouse District. Thank the Lord, no one died
in Cleveland, Ohio.
A mass shooting, but it was a tragic and sad day nonetheless, and truly shows the massive gun problem we have, not just in Cleveland, not just in Ohio, but across this nation.
So approximately about 2:25 this morning, right here in this location, we had an individual who actually started shooting at a crowd of people. That's what we have right now. It's important to note and understand we have officers assigned here. It's called the warehouse detail. We have officers assigned here at that particular time as patrons were coming out of different nightclubs. We had 2 officers actually and their cars, their marked cars.
I know, shocking, isn't it, Dustin?
Of West St. Clair and West 6th. Marked cars.
For when I rip one?
Officers in uniform. There are light bars, their lights are gone. We also had an additional officer just a little bit further north.
You want me to play it on the show? I'll rip one right now. What's the video? Or is this? I was getting ready to say, or is it for my ears only? But you shared it into a public Discord. Yeah. Oh shit! You're gonna get me copyright. I'm gonna lose my 2 cents. Aww, hits from the bong. I mean, if my 2 cents is gonna go to anybody, like, go to Cypress Hill, but unfortunately probably wouldn't go to Cypress Hill, go to their fucking record label.
Parked, I believe, just getting out the car, and also a sergeant that was also driving northbound from West St. Clair towards West Lakeside when this occurred. This particular individual started shooting towards the crowd. As you all know, struck 9 individuals. The officers immediately ran to the gunfire, ran to the victims, and rendered first aid. All the officers rendered first aid to the victims. As I stated, we had 9 total victims, 7 males and 2 females ranging from ages 23 to 38 years old. Again, I stress, we had officers assigned here. This is part of their detail. A very visible presence of officers, but yet this individual decided to use that weapon and shoot individuals, even with our officers here. So it's not a matter of police response. It's not a matter of police visibility, because we were here and we will continue to be here. What we have now for suspect, the subject is a black male that we know right now, a black male, and that's the extent of it. He may have had a grill in his mouth, a gold grill. We do have some leads, and we'll get that information out to you guys a little bit later. But I have to stress again, our officers were on scene, and they responded immediately.
It's so important that we honor the hard work and the amazing response time by police department and EMS as well, too. Every weekend, we have a large police presence right here in the Warehouse District, and our first responders did a fantastic job to provide aid to all the victims last night as well. Thirdly, I want to also highlight the importance of this fact. Last summer, the Republican-led legislature in Columbus passed Senate Bill 215. And across this state, from Cleveland to Columbus and Cincinnati, we've seen an uptick in shootings across our state. We need Republicans in Columbus to give us mayors more tools to get guns off our streets. I am sick and tired of getting these calls late at night. I'm sick and tired of hearing from our residents and victims of gun violence and Republicans blaming us as mayors for violent crime. We need their help.
But something we've talked about here on the show is that when mass shootings happen in red states, the misnomer is that Republicans do nothing. No, they respond. When a mass shooting happens, it is almost certain that you will get numerous bills from Republicans to decrease regulations on guns every single fucking time. Politicians suck balls. Well, there's nothing wrong with balls. Unless it's a politician's balls and you want to kick them in.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
Kick authority in the balls around here. I went a long way around to try to make that joke. I'm sorry. I apologize. There's something wrong with me. I ain't right. A shooter in New York City has been caught. And the shooter was on a scooter. Scooter riding gunman taken into custody in New York City.
Right now, the gunman suspected in a deadly rampage across New York City is under arrest. Police say the 25-year-old opened fire 5 separate times across 2 boroughs while riding a scooter. It happened on Saturday. Let's bring in my colleague, NBC's George Solis. So, George, welcome. Have police identified a motive here?
On Saturday, you know what that means? It was just another day. Flash is correct. We'll always bring it up to right-wingers. Alabama, Louisiana, they're usually competing for like the most violent states. Just throwing that out there. Red states like Alabama, Louisiana, Arkansas have higher violent crime rates than Illinois, New York, and California. The scooter.
Not yet, Alex. And here's what we know at this hour. A 25-year-old man was taken into custody without incident. So far, authorities have not revealed the suspect's name. Investigators say they recovered a 9mm handgun with an extended magazine.
It was a deadly scooting spree.
Without a license plate. Now, here's a timeline of the shooting spree according to the NYPD. It all began Saturday in Brooklyn just after 11 a.m. when police got the call of a man who was shot in the left shoulder. Less than 20 minutes later, police say they got a call of an 86-year-old man who had been shot in the back in Queens. That victim rushed to the hospital where he later died. That followed a third shooting where fortunately no one was struck, but witnesses reported seeing a man on a scooter randomly firing at people. Then 2 more shootings within 2 minutes of each other. Another man shot in the face. He's considered critical. And then a 4th man that was shot in the shoulder. Here's what police have said about the ongoing investigation.
At this time, we don't know the motive. It seems that his acts were random.
Both of these seem incredibly random. I mean, there's the possibility that the drive-by in was it Cleveland or Columbus? Columbus, I think. Hold on, let me verify that. Cleveland. It was in Cleveland. He mentioned Columbus in the story. That could have been like gang motivated. But both seem incredibly random. And let's just say we just got people just fucking randomly shooting at people.
You look at the demographics and pedigree of the victims, they're all different. At this time, video shows that he's not targeting anybody, he's not following anybody. As he's driving on his scooter, he's randomly shooting people. As of right now, we have not found a serial number on the gun. We're trying to determine whether it's defaced or possibly a ghost gun. We don't have that at this time. That'll come out later on in our investigation.
And Alex, authorities say they sent an image of the suspect to every NYPD officer on the street to help identify him as quickly as possible. Police say the suspect does have at least 1 prior arrest in the city, but this investigation is still ongoing. Alex?
I don't know what else to say. Ranted about guns and ranted about guns. It's been an ongoing issue for the entirety of this show, for the entirety of our existence as a country, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm becoming desensitized to it. We're all becoming desensitized to it. These women in this nail salon seems desensitized to a dude. Did he have a gun? I haven't watched this yet. He attempts to rob a nail salon. Does not go the way he expects it to.
Give me all your money! It's got the boxes! Give me all your money! Get out! Where's the money? Give me the money! Where's the money? Everybody give me everything! Where's the money?
He's got a purse. I don't have any. And he just walked off. Oh my God. We're desensitized. Like, he didn't even flinch. It happened in Atlanta.
Everybody get down! Give me all your money! It's got the boxes! Give me all your money! Get out! Where's the money? Give me the money! Where's the money? Everybody give me everything! Where's the money?
I love that he just walks off. He's not even like running to make a getaway. This country, man. How could they know he didn't have a gun in the bag? I mean, yeah, I guess that's one of the, perks in an open carry country. Purgatories, I mean, yeah, I guess, like, it's, like, because I don't even get, like, overwhelming shootings in my news recommendations. I tend to think that even me as somebody who is perusing the news headlines, Booty Scratcher, what's going on? I can give you some advice. If you're constantly scratching your ass, you might want to think about this.
Life is too short to walk this earth for a crusty asshole. Wash your ass.
Saying. I was wondering as we were watching that, like, is that the best way to handle somebody trying to rob a place? Is just ignore them and they go away? Because most people genuinely don't want to shoot you, but if like you escalate or you start yelling and emotions, the Bratad says, no, that's not the way to handle it. I don't know. I think you try to meet people's basic needs. You try to alleviate poverty. There's always going to be crime. There's always going to be people that are pathological about it, and they do it because, it's the thrill, It's why the wine moms that are like Stedford wives with fucking no financial worry are going in here and fucking shoplifting from a Walmart or a Target. It's like that's just a thing that is like that's always gonna be there. but you can alleviate most crime. 80% of it, 70% of it, just by meeting people's needs and making sure housing and food is available. Have we tried that, guys? I think we spend all that money we spend on prisons on meeting people's needs and their health needs. We need health care in this fucking country. I think that would go a long way in preventing a hell of a lot of crime. Now, this is this exact kind of story. I do believe a worker has been fired from a store after going out and filming somebody that was stealing laundry detergent. Laundry detergent. If you see somebody stealing laundry detergent, no you didn't. If you see somebody stealing baby formula, no you didn't. If you see somebody stealing paper towels, food, no you didn't. You're full of it. What the fuck are you talking about? Fake news. Ah, Venus, yes, that's another. Okay, so in my ideal scenario, the military becomes like, you're going to need a military, you're going to need a force, but the military for me would be more of in a world. If I was king of the USA, military would be more like a fucking jobs training program. And I'd be sending them out to do fucking like Peace Corps shit. Go plant some fucking trees. You don't need to be going out here doing war games, setting off munitions, just so we can buy more from defense contractors to waste more tax money to people that are invested in these goddamn fucking companies like Raytheon and Boeing and shit. Go plant some fucking trees. DJ Dub. What, is there something wrong with me? Is there, like, you need to call me out on something? Borg, did I tell you good evening? Yeah, you see somebody stealing detergent. No, you fucking didn't.
It's video showing 3 alleged shoplifters stealing $500 worth of laundry detergent from a...
Oh, well, wow. I wasn't expecting it to be $500 worth of laundry detergent. Kind of changes the... They're not stealing that. But hey, I mean, fucking, they could be running a good racket with the laundry detergent. I don't fucking know. Who knows why they needed that? Like, they might be selling it to pay rent or something. They just thought it was a good high dollar item or some shit.
A supermarket, and a store clerk is taping everything.
Fair enough, DJ Dub.
Suspects quickly load up the getaway car.
Really, bro? You gotta resort to this? Economy's not that bad.
Seems pretty smart, right? The store employee isn't trying to physically stop the suspects. That's frowned upon by police and by big retailers. All he's doing is collecting the evidence on tape. You think he'd be praised for a job well done?
No, you still probably shouldn't have done it.
In fact, he was fired. Santino Barola says he was stunned when he was told he was getting the axe from the King Superstore in Centennial, Colorado.
The policy says no chasing, no physical deterrent, whatsoever. And I did neither of those things.
So what did he supposedly do wrong? As the
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking, Flash. You know, you fucking laundry detergent is goddamn expensive, especially if it's like the brand name shit. Like one of those boxes is like $20. So you can go fucking sell it for $10 in the neighborhood. Yeah, dude, you don't do that. Like like we all agree you should not do that. You violated the company policy. It's pretty cut and dry. They probably shouldn't have been stealing $500 worth of detergent. But once again, I don't know what's going on. They may we're $200 short for rent. We gotta go hustle. I don't fault somebody. But don't go follow them. And then it's a King Super, which is that's Kroger's fucking so they're unionized and everything, so it's a pretty decent store.
Suspects try to drive off.
Following them increases the risk, yes.
tears away the foil covering the license plate.
Wow, they had foil covering the license plate
of the driver.
If he hadn't done that, it would just be another video of 3 people stealing again, like that's happening all over the United States right now.
But that doesn't matter. Barola is still out of a job because he violated the company's policy against employees intervening during thefts.
What do you think of this store policy?
I think it's a little bit ridiculous. I get it, the liability and to not chase after them. Or
yeah, he makes a very good point. It's not even though that is best for the store employee, don't put your life on the line for fucking property. That's stupid. The company's view of it is it's a liability and they could be sued if you go out and do it.
Or physically deter them, which in the video I clearly did neither. I was walking, not chasing, and never did I physically touch them in any way, shape, or form.
Barola has lots of support on social media. This man should get a raise, not termination, goes one typical commentary.
You think you were unfairly fired?
I believe so. Being a veteran, being a former military police officer, I'm always going to do the right thing, especially if a crime is happening in front of me.
While they are unable to comment on personnel matters, they do have security measures in place to help prevent crime and de-escalate confrontations to minimize risk to their employees.
He probably shouldn't have been fired, but he's probably going to come out better for this because of the publicity. And go work in the sheriff's office. Dude, if you're former military and you want to do the right thing, go work at the sheriff's office. Fucking reform that place. I mean, I know what they do to. I think a lot of people think ex-military shouldn't be allowed to be cops, but I think they kind of make the best cops. My buddy that's was an MP in the Marines, he would make an excellent cop. I was like, dude, we need people like you to be cops. That's what a good cop is. You're like, nah, I can't do that. No. So, and I guess it's because he's such a good guy that he couldn't be a fucking cop. This whole situation is wild. And it's possible they could have been selling it for drugs, but also don't really care. Yeah, some right-wing podcast. Absolutely bring him on as a co-host. I mean, that story, that is something the right-wing propaganda machine will definitely run with. I haven't seen it on Fox News yet, but I would say they've gone with it. The Daily Wire. I'll probably see stories like this week. Exactly, Flash. Exactly. That's one of the things that I look at. If the cops were held to the same standard our military were, it absolutely would be an improvement. If they had to, follow the rules of engagement and shit. Just following the rules of engagement here in when dealing with civilians would go a long fucking way. I've pointed that out so many times. That this is a violation of the rules of engagement in the military. And you're dealing with this. And right-wingers don't see it like that. They don't see it as the cops are an arm of the government and the government is interacting with the people. They don't see it as the cops, the state putting their boot down on somebody. That's the real problem, because you hear them talk about the big government, but you love cops. It's the weirdest goddamn thing. You guys want to laugh at somebody who was a stupid criminal and got their comeuppance? A commodities trader, the lowest of the lowest life forms on this planet, a commodities trader caught in a DOJ probe, negotiated a plea deal, ruined her own non-prosecution agreement by taunting the former colleagues she was helping to investigate. A former commodities trader who admitted to wire fraud and price manipulation ruined a non-prosecution agreement she scored after it was revealed that she was harassing the former colleagues that she was helping to investigate. Charlotte Bamber, admitted to wire fraud and price manipulation while working as a commodities trader. She entered into a non-prosecution agreement with the DOJ, and this is the first I'm hearing of like the DOJ coming after commodities traders. Hell fucking yeah. Can we get some more of this? A court filing shows Bamber ruined the agreement by harassing colleagues she was helping to investigate. So she was a former trader, not a porno, a former trader of oil products with Trafigura Group. He entered into a non-prosecution agreement with the DOJ in 2020 in exchange for corroboration. And it was even during the Trump administration. Shocked. Under the terms of the agreement, Bamber was not to have contact with her colleagues and would not face jail time if she helped investigators dig into the price manipulation plan she was a part of. In a June 26 court filing reviewed by Insider, Bamber acknowledged she had violated the agreement after the investigators on the case discovered she was sending threatening messages to her former co-workers. Bamber did not acknowledge she had sent the emails until confronted with the evidence by the FBI and DOJ. It remains unclear how the agents tracked the emails to Bamber. I would assume one of her co-workers, her former co-workers she was harassing, informed them. You should probably tell your family what is about to be made public, Bamber wrote to another employee being investigated using a pseudonymous email account in November 2021. Everything you do always catches up to you. Always. You're a great roommate. Don't worry. You'll get a great roommate. Don't worry. Wow. In January of the following year, she wrote another taunting email to a different employee of the firm. Tick-tock. There's no way out for you. Enjoy balding even further if that's possible. Ma'am, you suck. All these people are horrible fucking people, but like you especially, ma'am. Guess who snitched on the other about C07 payment approvals, Bamber wrote, copying two colleagues under investigation in the same email thread. One of you will lose everything. Rudy, what do you have to say about it?
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Rudy had some shady dealings with Ukraine. Look at this segue. This is an excellent segue. Rudy has had some shady dealings with Ukraine. You know who else has had some shady dealings with Ukraine? The United States, who wants to send some fucking cluster bombs to them. Hold on. Apparently I need a different browser. For those of you unaware, cluster bombs are considered war crimes in many nations. So, human rights groups are all up in arms, and there is actually pushback from some congressional Democrats on the issue.
Turning overseas to the war in Ukraine, President Biden said today it was a, quote, very difficult decision to include controversial cluster munitions in his new military aid package for Ukraine. There are concerns these weapons, which burst like fireworks, could cause civilian casualties. More now from CBS's Charlie D'Agata in Ukraine.
Terrifying, lethal, and highly effective, Ukraine is no stranger to cluster bombs. Both sides have been accused of deploying them since Russia launched its invasion, with devastating effect. It's a weapon that breaks up mid-air as it approaches its target, ejecting a number of smaller explosives or bomblets, scattering indiscriminately across an area that can stretch to the size of several football fields. Most of those explosives detonate, but not all, posing a threat to the civilian population long after the war is ended, especially children.
Oh my God!
Here in Kharkiv, investigators have built a mountain of Russian munitions and evidence of their use in civilian areas. These are just some of the Russian cluster bombs that have been recovered here in the Kharkiv region. And this is an example of a detonated bomblet, which would have been packed with explosives. Ukraine says it needs the help in a stalled counteroffensive against entrenched Russian troops, backing the White House's argument that the use of the controversial weapons is on Ukraine's watch.
Ukraine would not be using these munitions in some foreign land. This is their country they're defending. These are their citizens they're protecting.
Mines and cluster bombs in Vietnam.
Tonight, the Ukrainian military will have to do all it can to avoid their use in
and not just in Vietnam, in Laos and Cambodia and fucking all kinds of surrounding areas. It's insane what we have done in that region.
Urban areas. Now, this latest aid package, $800 million, brings the U.S. total to more than $41 billion since the invasion began. Jerika?
Charlie D'Agata, thank you.
We begin with a phrase.
Yeah, we're ending you, sir. Before you even begun. We're gonna go talk about Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary. Met with Chinese officials. I don't know if she had a meeting with Pooh Bear himself. I believe it was just high-ranking officials that she met with. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen speaking. Was this today? I think it was today on the meeting with Chinese officials.
Even where we don't see eye to eye, I believe there is clear value in the frank and in-depth discussions we had on the opportunities and challenges in our relationship, and the better understanding it gave us of each country's actions and intentions. Broadly speaking, I believe that my bilateral meetings, which totaled about 10 hours over 2 days, served as a step forward in our effort to put the U.S.
Bilateral meetings? That's the reason why I have Grindr on my phone.
China relationship on a surer footing.
You live in sexual anarchy?
I'm horrible. God, I gave you no, fucking Janet Yellen didn't give us any information. I didn't give you any information. Apparently the meeting went good. Good on that. Good on you, Janet. Damn it, Janet. Purgatory, I believe there was wasn't there a group that got into some shit? They were using fucking monkeys or something to go out and detonate them, or maybe even dogs. And it was just yes, the fucking munitions are an issue, but also fucking sending animals out to detonate them. Also, shit, don't do that. Because I want to say they were using monkeys or something like that. Richard, good evening. Janet failed to coerce China. Surely there was no coercing China to do anything. At this moment in time, we're probably more likely to be coerced by China. Just saying.
Come on, man.
Got a wild one for you here. A violent brawl broke out at a state GOP committee meeting in Michigan. Tensions stemming from budget questions boiled over a committee meeting. While the scuffles may be verbal as leading Republicans jostle to become the party's 2024 presidential nominee, down at the state level, things have actually turned physical, at least in Michigan, and not for the first time. Tensions boiled over within the Michigan Republican Party on Saturday, resulting in an altercation at a hotel at which the police were called. The GOP state committee came together for a meeting at the Daughtery Hotel in Clare as members have been feuding over the party's direction and the leadership approach of the new chairman, Christina Caramo, who is a complete fucking nut job. Some Michigan Republicans arriving at the venue on Saturday were frustrated to find the meeting was limited only to members of the state committee and was taking place behind a locked door. In an interview with the Detroit News, James Chapman, a Republican from Wayne County, said he had traveled to Clare for the meeting but was forced to listen to it through a locked door. Wonder if he had like a little straw or something up to his ear. Mr. Chapman said he and others said the Pledge of Allegiance together in the lobby outside the meeting, after which he jiggled the doorknob of the meeting room. It was then that Mark DeYoung, chairman of the Clare County Republican Party, approached the door, saw someone flip him off through a small window, and opened it. He kicked me in my balls as soon as I opened the door.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
Yes, Michigan Democrats are doing a pretty good job in the Supreme Court and the governorship. Wisconsin Democrats are doing an excellent job in Wisconsin. He kicked me in my balls as soon as I opened the door, Mr. DeYoung said, adding that Mr. Chapman ran at him and slammed him into a chair. This story's even better than I thought it was going to be. Mr. DeYoung gave his account to the outlet over the phone from an emergency room where he said he was being treated for a broken rib. For his part, Mr. Chapman alleges that Mr. DeYoung had swung at him and said, "I'll kick your ass." Mr. DeYoung denies this happened. Continuing, Mr. Chapman says he removed his glasses, took Mr. DeYoung by the legs, and knocked him down. "When you see me taking my glasses off, I'm ready to rock." Multiple police officers were at the scene after the scuffle, and Mr. DeYoung said he intended to press charges against Mr. Chapman. "We're so divided," Mr. DeYoung said from the hospital. "I just wish we could come together." This is also not the first time internal tensions have erupted. The Washington Post reported in June at least 4 county parties in Michigan have been at open war with themselves, with members suing one another or putting forward competing slates that claim to be in charge. The night before an April state party meeting, 2 GOP officials got into a physical altercation in a hotel bar over an attempt to expel members. Let them fight! Let them fight! Hey, Rush Limbaugh, what do you think about it?
As a conservative, it's getting harder and harder to not look like a kook.
Have you heard about the group Mamas for DeSantis? Mamas for DeSantis. Casey DeSantis, wife of presidential hopeful Ron DeSantis, Meatball Ron as Donald Trump likes to call him, tweeted out, "We will not allow you to exploit the innocence of our children to advance your agenda. Mamas for DeSantis sounds gay." It kind of does. Oh, shit.
In America, we've witnessed a lot and put up with enough.
You guys gotta go.
He is arresting her for being on a public playground.
No, he was arresting her for disobeying his orders and like failing to disperse.
We've been forced into silence. into compliance. Told that we must trust the science.
Indoor and outdoor venues.
Oh God, Tim Pool reacting to this.
Deny truth.
Tim Pool is not on the DeSantis bandwagon.
And look the other way. But enough is enough. When you come after our kids, we fight back. Because there's nothing we won't do to protect our children. They're not yours.
These are our kids.
Our nation's children are all our children.
We will not allow you to exploit their innocence to advance your agenda. We are no longer silent. We are united. And we have finally found our fighter.
Exactly, Shelley.
On our kids, we're gonna stand up for our kids.
He'll do for America what he did for us in Florida. Schools open. Parents' rights defended. School choice universal. Critical race theory prohibited. DEI stopped. Child mutilation illegal. Girls' sports saved. Communities protected.
This is how many fucking right-wing propaganda buzzwords can we fit into one commercial?
Protected. Our economy growing. And freedom guaranteed. But winning the fight in Florida is just the beginning. We must protect parents' rights.
This is the first time I've ever seen her. That's a weird-looking woman. I don't want to comment on somebody's looks, but like, is this AI? Was she AI generated?
And the innocence of our children. We must restore sanity in our society. We need every mama and every grandmama in every corner of the country to stand up and fight back by electing Ron DeSantis President of the United States of America. Join us by texting mamas to 512345.
Kelly, I am 100% against circumcision. I am circumcised. I'm glad I'm circumcised. I like it better. I think it's prettier, but like, it's wrong that that decision was taken from me. You shouldn't do that to children. He is indeed a literal fascist. So like that's actually and I know a lot of people want to present that as, you know, a counter to their child mutilation claims and shit. But like, I'm really against that. We need to outlaw that. That is true child mutilation. And like, I didn't know how big of an issue female genital mutilation is. You want to talk about genital mutilation, right-wingers? Let's talk about it. And usually it's for religious reasons. And it is fucking wrong. Libertad is our resident fecal fetishist. He really likes to get in there in the shit, as they say. Oh, let's see. Talking about wokeness. Apparently, a school administrator is speaking out about how they're having a hard time applying this whole anti-woke nonsense.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
To the task of teaching factual history.
Fletcher, who was the oldest of the 3 living survivors of the Tulsa race massacre, when she was asking Congress for justice and reparations in May of 2021. And she spoke a century after a white mob attacked a bustling, economically independent black neighborhood in the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was the largest instance of race-based violence in American history. The mob was riled up after the local paper published this article about an alleged incident between a black man named Dick Rowland and a white woman that happened on an elevator. The mob killed as many as 300 black residents and demolished 35 city blocks of what was then called Black Wall Street, which caused the equivalent of $27 million of damage in today's dollars. It was an historic wrong, and at 109 years old, Violet Fletcher is still waiting to see it made right. The survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre, the victims and their descendants, they are still fighting for reparations. Despite all that, this...
So I do not... Okay, so Alex does not have the up-to-date because they have actually ruled. Hold on. Let me get you the fucking infuriating news. And we'll come back to this. I thought she would have the update. No, this is before it happened. The Oklahoma judge, a Oklahoma judge, throws out a suit seeking reparations for the Tulsa Race Massacre. So yeah, this is just breaking in the last few hours. Judge Carolyn Wall on Friday dismissed with prejudice the lawsuit trying to force... Oh, I guess not in the last few hours. I just saw the story today then. Judge Caroline Wall on Friday dismissed with prejudice the lawsuit trying to force the city and others to make recompense for the destruction of the once thriving black district known as Greenwood. The order comes in a case by 3 survivors of the attack who are all now over 100 years old and sued in 2020 with the hope of seeing what their attorney called justice in their lifetime. Spokespersons for the city of Tulsa and a lawyer for the survivors, Leslie Benningfield Randall, Viola Fletcher, and Hughes Von Ellis, did not immediately respond to requests for comment on Sunday. Wall, a Tulsa County District Court, wrote in a brief order that she was tossing the case based on arguments from the city, regional chamber of commerce, and other state and local government agencies. She'd ruled against the defendant's motion to dismiss and allowed the case to proceed last year. Local judicial elections in Oklahoma are technically nonpartisan, but Wall has described herself as a constitutional conservative. The lawsuit was brought under Oklahoma's public nuisance law, saying the actions of the white mob that killed hundreds of black residents and destroyed what had been the nation's most prosperous black business district continue to affect the city to this day. It contended that Tulsa's long history of racial division and tension stemmed from the massacre during which an angry white mob descended on a 35-block area, looting, killing, and burning it to the ground. Beyond those killed, thousands more were left homeless and living in a hastily constructed internment camp. I got something else for you while we're on this subject. And this is what we're going to go back to the Alex Wagner piece, talking about how it's hard for schools with this anti-woke fucking legislation to teach the actual history. And that's the point. That's the point. Republicans don't want you to know the actual fucking history. A Republican attempts to whitewash U.S. history. Believed to be the single worst incident of racial violence in American history, the bloody 1921 outbreak in Tulsa has continued to haunt Oklahomians. Oh my God, Smokey is stuck to the chair. More than 1,000 homes and businesses were destroyed, while credible estimates of death ranged from 50 to 300. By the time the violence ended, the city had been placed under martial law. Thousands of Tulsans were being held under armed guard, and the state's second largest African American community had been burned to the ground. And here's what an Oklahoma state superintendent had to say about it. To say it was inherent in that because of their skin is where I say that is critical race theory. Let's not tie it to the to skin color and say that skin color determined that. I fucked his quote up, but let me say it again. To say it was inherent in that because of their skin is where I say that is critical race theory. Let's not tie it to the skin color and say that skin color determined that. This was at a public forum 3 days ago. The race riot had nothing to do with skin color, according to the state superintendent.
Is how the state superintendent of public instruction suggests that a history of racial terror should be taught.
I would never tell a kid that because of your array, because of your color of your skin, or your gender, or anything like that, you are less of a person or are inherently racist. That doesn't mean you don't judge the actions of individuals. Oh, you can absolutely. Historically, you should. This was right. This was wrong. They did this for this reason. But to say it was inherent in the because of their skin is where I say that is critical race theory.
It was a semi-incoherent response after someone asked the superintendent, Ryan Walters, about how teaching about Tulsa's race massacre might exist.
Well, Venus, you kind of you hit on something there. Yeah, Florida taking out the reason Rosa Parks refused. I was thinking about something completely different. Like, one of the things that you learn about Rosa Parks in school is you think she was this one person, they forced her to the back of the bus and she took a stand. But no, it was a coordinated effort. She was an activist and they picked her to be on the bus for that reason. It was meant to be an active protest. And that was something I never learned in school. That's something we whitewash that kind of shit. As a fifth or sixth grade or whatever, Rosa Parks sat on a bus, they made her move to the back, but she was a strong woman that held her will. No, that's not the story of what happened. And it's wrong of us to not teach the full story. But yeah, the Florida fucking taking out the shit.
Outside of the superintendent's current war on critical race theory. And it was a very contentious meeting held effectively last night to address concerns from both parents and teachers about the superintendent's efforts to keep education in Oklahoma woke free. Now, the superintendent's anti-woke crusade has drawn a lot of criticism in his nearly 6 months on the job, even from Republicans who think his focus is misdirected. One state senator told a local paper he'd like to see him settle down and actually start talking about reading, writing, and arithmetic and how to bring up test scores. And by the way, there is plenty of work for Superintendent Walters to do on that front because Oklahoma's education system is currently second to last in the country. But instead, Mr. Walters is trying to fight CRT and
because they dumb shits like that
about how 300 Tulsans were killed, in large part because they were black and thriving. What is happening here in Oklahoma is but one front in the Republican war on woke, and it is just the latest example of its devastating effect on American education.
I thought we were going to hear from somebody about trying to teach with that jackass as superintendent. Still very informative. What's not informative is the rag known as the Daily Wire. Smokey, buddy, you can't keep doing this. Buddy, you're... Say hi to everybody. Say hi to him, Smokey. He wants to get up here and really stretch out and get all of my... Buddy, give me another hour. I'll come lay with you on the couch. He's really needy. He's a really needy cat. But will not sleep with me of a morning. I don't know what the fuck that is. Why you won't get on on the couch of a morning with me? He sleeps on the end here. And I'm I'll get up, go to the bathroom, be like, Smokey, come on, let's lay down. And he'll fight with me. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? You're always all up in my shit every other time. All right, content warning. I've wanted to avoid talking about this. Now that Ben Shapiro is making a huge deal about it. Apparently, like, I thought these were new comments, but apparently this is from that same show, or she went back on the show, or they just released another clip or something. I don't fucking know. Popular left-wing host. I don't think she's left-wing anymore, to be honest with you. I think this has been coming for a couple of years now. Like, really, what is going on over there at TYT? I've had a lot of respect for them for a long time, but they produced Jimmy Dore and Dave Rubin. Something's up over there. Popular left-wing host slams giving puberty blockers to minors, says it causes irreparable harm. Anna Kasparian, co-host of the Young Terfs, said during a Sunday interview on a different show that leftists were attacking journalists to intimidate them from doing accurate reporting on what's actually occurring on the ground. Interesting.
Great news reporting on basically what, some of the risks could be when it comes to transitioning literal kids with puberty blockers and then cross-sex hormones. And through his reporting, which I'm very sad to say I didn't really come across until this year, I learned that I was wrong about a bunch of other things, right? So for instance, it is a lie that puberty blockers are reversible. In some cases, they are not, and they can cause irreparable harm. And look, you might think, okay, but you got to do a balancing act. And if a child or if a teenager has severe gender dysphoria, and it would actually be better for that person to go on puberty blocks. Okay, I mean, we should be able to balance that out. But my point here is withholding the information because you don't like the information getting out there ain't the way to go, because that destroys any opportunity for us to actually have a good faith debate about what we should do moving forward. What are the pros and cons?
You're accusing people of holding back the information about the pros and cons. It would be wild if somebody was to pull up the St. Louis Children's Hospital and actually had the information right here. Boop, 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 boop. Are puberty blockers safe? Most experts, including our team, believe that puberty blockers are safe. The Endocrine Society and the World Professional Association for Transgender Health support the use of puberty blockers for kids who want to delay or prevent unwanted physical changes. The USDA has approved puberty blockers for children who start puberty at a young age. Now, there are side effects to any drug. There are side effects to any medical intervention. But to portray that as a danger is disingenuous. Anna, what are the side effects of puberty blockers? The possible long-term side effects include lower bone density. And to protect against this, we work to make sure every patient gets enough exercise, calcium, and vitamin D, which can help keep bones healthy and strong. We also closely monitor patients' bone density. Okay. Delayed growth plate closure, leading to a slightly taller adult height. Okay. Less development of genital tissue, which may limit options for gender-affirming surgery later in life. That is something that should be talked about. Other possible long-term side effects that are not yet known. Okay, so there's still, there could be something that develops. Possible short-term side effects. Headache, fatigue, muscle aches. Changes in weight, mood, or breast tissue. That's totally expected now, isn't it? Spotting or irregular periods. So now, Anna claimed something about like they weren't always reversible. I don't see that in the St. Louis Children. Like, her claim was that left-wing activists were stopping a conversation from being had about something I don't have information that occurs. Now, I did not look at all the medical websites. This is just the St. Louis Children's Hospital. I looked at Mayo Clinic, and Mayo Clinic had the same information. So, in my opinion, it seems that Anna is trying to further some kind of right-wing nonsense or trope about the harms of puberty blockers that I don't think are actually there. Ironically, it was retweeted by a myth-informed account. I mean, I can't blame her there. Like, leftists on Twitter, including myself, are insufferable. I've even said it on Twitter. I should hit and run. I should not stop and argue with people because nobody ever comes out looking better in Twitter arguments. I don't even think it's 20% of the American populace, Venus. If it's 20%, it's just like 20% of people that have an account. It is not like 20% of the population is not active users. Yeah, we're assholes, but we own it. We're self-aware about it, right, clinically? It's not like she's not a snarky bitch sometimes, right? And like that's what I loved about her. Oh yeah, fair enough, Venus. But fuck those Brits. Those damn Brits. And just because I thought that it would be, just a nice little cherry on top, a palate cleanser after hearing Anna say that shit. A transgender runner has dedicated their win to the LGBT community. Said that they feel like the LGBT community needed a win. Track star Nikki Hiltz identifies as transgender non-binary using their them pronouns, and they tried to make the transgender and LGBT community proud this week by winning the women's 1500 meter championship for the third time in the 2023 USA TF Championships at Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon this week. Nikki Hiltz dedicated the victory to the LGBTQ and transgender community and said they knew before the race started that they had at least one fan in the stands. Awesome, Hiltz said after the race, I think there's so much hate right now, and specifically the bills being passed for trans youth. I feel like the LGBTQ community needed a win. There's so many things that go through your mind in the race, and for whatever reason, that was kind of in the back of my mind. I saw that trans flag right when I came out, before the race even started, and I felt like that person. I don't know their pronouns, who they are, but they brought that flag, and I bet they're here for me. Hell yeah. I saw them after the race and I gave them my bibs. I did a whole victory lap holding my bib. I wanted to give it to that one person because they were there. When she says bib, or I mean when they say bib, they mean the thing that has the number on them, right? Not like a bib like you're eating ribs. I saw them after the race. I gave them my bibs. Did a whole victory lap holding my bib. I wanted to give it to that one person because they were the reason I won, or one of them. They pulled it out of me, so it was awesome. Track is a super niche sport, and I don't even know that many trans or queer people watch. So the ones that do, that's who I do it for. I wanted to give you that little, I came across that, and I was like, yeah, it doesn't really fit in the show, but I think it would be really a really nice cherry on top of shitting on Anna. Let's watch a little CNN. They had a woman who was apparently convicted for her role in the January 6th riots. She now says that Trump brainwashed her.
Earlier, we told you about the January 6th defendant arrested with weapons in President Obama's neighborhood, but now another January 6th defendant, a grandmother and former Trump supporter who went to prison for her actions on January 6th, who's now speaking out against the former president for what she calls his gaslighting. Gary Tuckman has more.
As she celebrates America's independence at a fireworks show here in Boise, Idaho,
70-year-old Pam Hemphill can't help but remember how she felt on July 4th of last year, because she was getting ready to go to prison.
Even though you were unhappy and scared in prison, you feel you were guilty of what the crime was.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
The January 6th Capitol insurrection. Mother and grandmother Pam Hemphill, who had recently been diagnosed with breast cancer, was there. She had long enjoyed taking video of political events and told police at the Capitol she was a citizen journalist. But she also believed former President Donald Trump's false claims that he won the election. And this is what she was telling people outside the Capitol as she shot her video.
Whose house does it belong to? It's my house. Come on in.
Okay, so like I believe this is the grandmother a lot of them allude to, but many of them use the picture of a grandmother who was in the Texas State House and wasn't actually in January 6th.
You just come in.
You just come in.
Come on in.
Come on in.
Shooting video.
Where are the people?
And Pam Hemphill ended up inside the Capitol building. She flew back to Idaho, still believing much of the dogma she had been taught that led to her coming to the Capitol.
The Democrats wanted this to be a communist country and that they were drinking babies' blood.
Did you believe that?
No, I thought that was kind of weird.
Okay. But did you believe that it was the Democrats wanted us to be a communist country?
Yes.
It wasn't until months later that Hemphill was arrested on multiple charges. After a plea bargain and pleading guilty to illegal entry to the Capitol, she was sentenced to 2 months in a federal prison in California.
I live with the fear every minute. You just live with it.
When she got out of prison this past September, she did have questions about the far-right talking points about Trump, but still considered herself a Trump supporter. However, a few months ago, she had a revelation.
So when you heard the former president say that he would consider pardoning some J6ers, it changed your mind?
Absolutely, 100%.
And what did you then think of Donald Trump?
That's it. He's just a master manipulator. He doesn't believe anything. He just thinks he's smart enough to pull the wool over you. But there's people like me waking up.
And do you feel the former president's responsible for that?
Absolutely. He's the king of that gaslighting. It's a cult. It's a cult.
And then this happened just about a week and a half ago.
A right-wing person wrote something that's inaccurate, but it's important to this story. I'm going to read it. American justice, 69-year-old grandma with cancer given more prison time for walking inside U.S. Capitol than Hunter Biden for sharing classified documents with foreign regimes and multi-million-dollar bribery schemes. And then Donald Trump shared it on his Truth Social with the comment, horrible. When you saw that or heard about it, what was the first thing that went through your mind?
I got up, I was very angry, and I said, this is it. This is it.
In fact, Hunter Biden recently agreed to plead guilty to 2 tax misdemeanors to resolve a felony gun charge in exchange for a recommendation of probation. What Pam Hemphill decided to do was call out the former president on social media, writing, "Please, Donald Trump, don't be using me for anything. I'm not a victim of January 6th. I pleaded guilty because I was guilty. Stop the spin." And now Pam Hemphill wants to go back to the U.S. Capitol, but this time to testify under oath about January 6th. And she's already prepared what she wants to say if she's invited.
I am not a victim of the government. The Justice Department was not weaponized against me. I was a participant. We broke the law.
And she talks about the Capitol Police in her speech.
In the crowd, I was pushed down. My head was trampled on. My shoulder pulled out. The Capitol Police saved my life that day. I want them to know how truly grateful I am to them and how deeply sorry I am for what happened and how they continue to be treated to this day.
Today, Pam Hemphill takes solace in her supportive friends on social media, her family, and God.
What would you say to Donald Trump if you could talk to him face to face, like you're talking to me right now?
Retire, get honest, because you know...
Get honest.
You know, that's more important.
Gary joins us now. What a journey she's been on. What is next for her?
So her sentence includes 3 years of probation. So some of the conditions are she can't commit a crime, She can't own a gun. She can't leave the state without permission. Politically, she says she wants to remain a registered Republican, but if Donald Trump runs against Joe Biden next year in the general election, there's no way she says she'd vote for Trump. She'd vote for Joe Biden. If it's a different Republican, she'll do her research and make a decision closer to the election. One final thing, Anderson, Pam Hemphill is still fighting breast cancer. And she says right now her life's goal is to, quote, make things right. Anderson.
Well, we wish her the best with her health and her family. Gary Tuckman, thanks so much.
I'm glad we watched that. I'm still a little stunned. But you know exactly, like, she will have zero effect on the people in the cult. They'll just be like, oh, the media paid her to say that. She's a Fed. Blah, 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 blah. Do you know who else has been brainwashed by Donald Trump? Man by the name of Lindsey Graham.
Pathos, emotion, humiliation in politics. And I don't say that because we want to focus on the tawdry or the tabloid. If you watch this program, you may know that is not really what we focus on. But this is a moment where
the times we watch you here on this show, we get an Ori Milber clip, what, every 2 or 3 weeks? You always make some kind of fucking, you work some rap lyrics in. That's what you do on this show. You make jokes about rap lyrics. I should not begrudge you of that, though, because, hey, I do a show with the Trollhead where we talk about, like, make sex jokes and shit.
Where the humiliation of Republican Senator Lindsey Graham relates to something
Name-ass rap reference.
And more important, tells us about where not only
usually
the Republican Party is, but why we have so many problems defending our democracy these days. Now, you may know Lindsey Graham.
Peterson cries more.
Really one of the people who has had a kind of a self-defeating obsession with winning over Trump, even though he initially warned more than many about how bad Trump is. And that makes Lindsey Graham...
And he was right. My God. Lindsey Graham, everything Lindsey Graham said about Trump, and it might have been early 2016 or it might have been late 2015. Everything he said about Trump then was 100% correct. The most accurate statement that Lindsey Graham has ever said in his life.
He knows exactly what he's doing. That may be different from someone who gets caught up in the emotion of it.
You're exactly right, Clinkley. It makes him whiner.
Even a misguided one. No, Lindsey Graham was humiliated even though he has tried so hard to win Trump back over after initially warning about him. Now, I'm going to show you the moment here at a Trump rally. This was in Graham's home state of South Carolina, so the politics matter to him there. And even though he has gone on a long, long road trying to win over Trump, and we'll get into some of that, just watch as this crowd unleashes before Graham even speaks.
Thank y'all. Welcome to Pickens. Thank y'all for coming. Thank you very much. Thank you. Welcome to Pickens County. A little bit about this county. Just calm down for a second.
Graham doing what politicians don't like to do, which is resort to acknowledging how bad the booing was. If you can get through a few seconds.
I was saying booers.
Act like it's not happening. But it went on, as we showed you there for so long, that he had to plead with the crowd to calm down, as people who had been picked as MAGA faithful behind him even were giving him the gladiator thumbs down. There were even those chanting, traitor. It's an embarrassment to Graham, who has spent years trying to build up his Trump career.
Did he just walk off?
Drawing headlines from USA Today to the local Fox station. The Greenville News points out Graham grew up in the exact area, that county where that rally was, Pickens County. And when Trump spoke, it didn't get any better for Graham.
You know, you can make mistakes on occasion.
Hey, I was like, I'm not going to fault him on that, because it's not like if I go back to Pike County, Kentucky, I'm going to get a fucking hero's welcome.
News points out Graham grew up in the exact area, that county where that rally was, Pickens County. And when Trump spoke, it didn't get any better for Graham.
You know, you can make mistakes on occasion. Even Lindsey down here, Senator Lindsey Graham. We love Senator Graham. We're gonna love him. going to love him. I know, it's half and half. But when I need some of those liberal votes, he's always there to help me get them, okay? Oh. Got some pretty liberal people, but he's good. He's there. He's there when you need him. He's there when you need him. I'm going to get him straightened out.
By the end, Trump.
Oh, Venus, it happened. Fox News went down to try to get, like, this was, I was still living with Curiouser, so this would have been back in, like, January or February. Oh, they went to, like, a diner in Florida, and they were asking who they supported for president. A diner in Florida, and they were doing a piece on DeSantis, and every single one of the diners said Trump. So then there's a woman with a DeSantis shirt on, like, I can't remember, it was what's his name, the fucking square-headed guy, and he goes over and because it's like on the morning show on Fox 5 or something, so he goes to the woman with the DeSantis shirt, like, who are you voting for? And she's like, Trump, maybe DeSantis. It was great.
Saying he's going to, quote, get him straightened out. It's half and half. He calls him a liberal, which is really an insult down in that county, and Trump knows that, while still dangling the thought, the prospect of further support. He has Graham right where he wants him. This is Donald Trump at his most politically transactional, perhaps at his most cruel. It is part of the reason that we see so many problems in Washington with the Republican Party. This is kind of the, as I said, emotional, visual, kind of humiliating exposition of it. It's a treatment other senators don't want. It's a treatment that Graham, of course, doesn't like right now, but he'll put up with it, humiliating himself in public, going along with this, bending the knee, and all of this, even as his own local fans or local voters go after him, fans of Trump. But he's been desperate to ingratiate himself, and he was the one who thought, for whatever reason, that he would draw a line, that he would stand up to Trump in 2016. And so, again, my point here tonight, before we bring in our guests to talk about the party's problems, is consider that Lindsey Graham knows exactly who he's sucking up to.
I think he's a kook. I think he's crazy. I think he's unfit for office. If you think Trump is bad for the party, I disagree with you. He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot.
Do you think that he is a racist?
Absolutely not. You know how you make America great again? Tell Donald Trump to go to hell. I think President Trump is good for the party.
All I can say is count me out. Enough is enough.
I could never, ever do that. I could never be like that, shameless. Like that. How? Lindsey Graham, man. Learn. If anybody needs to learn to feel embarrassment, it is you. It is you, my friend. What causes somebody to be able to do that? Is it sociopathy? Is it, are they psychotic? What in the fuck? I could not, and like Ted Cruz, dude insulted your wife, and then you phone bank for him? You spineless fucking coward. And that's supposed to be the party of, personal responsibility and tough guys and shit. Like, fuck off. Serious? All right. Rudy Giuliani has a radio show. And apparently he thinks his listeners are stupid as I think his listeners are.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
I'm a left-wing pundit that's a failed comedian.
What we call critical thinking. We can't listen to politicians anymore because they lie to us with a smile on their face.
Biden never tells the truth. It's almost useful when they say something
when somebody like that little lying
Come on, man.
Press secretary that he has, the one who's now given us 3 different places that the cocaine. I mean,
Karine Jean-Pierre has done an amazing job, and right-wingers love shitting on her because she's black. I feel sorry for her to be in that position that she's in and to get the hate that she gets for no fucking reason. In one of the groups I'm in, I was like, what exactly do you think why is she bad at her job? She lies all the time. I hate her, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, God, Dan, seriously, shut up.
and how can you believe a single thing? How can you forget where you found the cocaine?
And the other thing is, why did they come out so early and say
I love it. Rudy is like, I never forget where I find cocaine. But like, it's as if Karine Jean-Pierre was the one that found the cocaine. What the fuck, Rudy, you stupid fuck?
3 different places that the cocaine. I mean, how can you believe a single thing? How can you forget where you found the cocaine?
And the other thing is, why did they come out so early and say the criminal may never be found?
Well, was that Rolling Stone? That was Politico, another one of the left-wing.
But they got it from a
traitors.
White House person.
Yeah, but that's them creating the expectation.
Everything is
they're a
filmed in
mouthpiece. They're a mouthpiece for the crooked White House. How can you possibly say the day after you just found out about the crime you're not going to solve it? I mean, that's like saying I am not going to solve it.
Yeah.
I mean, so the day after they say this may never be solved. Can you imagine if there's a murder this morning, and the acting police commissioner shows up and says, "Well, let me think about it.
I love Francesca.
This may never be solved."
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is what they said. Now, Dumbskull press secretary, first report. It was found in a...
Well, I call myself a failed comedian, but I've always been a radio personality. I did stand-up comedy after I got booted from a radio station. When I wasn't allowed on my radio station at college anymore, I was like, well, I'll go do stand-up comedy now. I gotta go fucking talk to people.
No library on the first floor. No, wrong. Change it. It was found in the waiting room of the president, where that filled.
And once again, Rudy is like, I don't even know what he's fucking talking about. 3 different places. We reported on this story. As far as I know, it has always been the notion, and I even said it before. I think the information came out. I think I saw the Washington Insiders kind of thing talking about we believe it was blah blah blah. It ended up being like a cubby hole where you put your phone and shit. Like that's been it from day one.
With traffic, all kinds of traffic,
which is not filled with all kinds.
No, it is not Penn Station. Liar. No, wrong. It was found outside the Situation Room in the basement. By the way, right outside of the place where the president, if he ever had to make a decision to bomb the world, would make it. So, I mean, there's a little cocaine out there just in case.
Take a few snorts here and there.
Okay, so which is it? And I've investigated crimes. A situation like this, you don't come.
Honey, I wouldn't doubt that Truman was doing a little toot when he ordered us to drop the fucking bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. You dipshit. I would say at least fucking 5 of the people in the room, in the Situation Room, were on cocaine.
Come up with 3 different places. Look, somebody found it, and somebody didn't forget where they found it. This is a damn lie. And it tells you right away there's a cover-up. But you got to be... I'm going to tell you this. If you don't realize this is a cover-up, you're too stupid to listen to the show. Go listen to some other show. Go listen to CNN or MSNBC and make yourself happy. But you obviously don't have a critical intellect. How can you possibly forget where you found drugs in the White House? Now, here's one possibility. They find it every day and they don't tell us.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised this got out to the people. I really am.
I think the odds of Rudy Giuliani having done coke in the White House are it's a more than 50% chance Rudy Giuliani has done cocaine in the White House. What do you guys think? Truman was a glue sniffer, apparently. I did not know that. Truman is an interesting figure. I think that's really where you start to see where the New Deal coalition comes apart, and you start to see, like, you could go back to fucking Truman taking over. FDR thought he was going to have another fucking term in the White House. Truman takes over. You can see the New Deal coalition come apart. You start getting more neoliberal politicians like JFK. Yeah, Wheelchair Nazi told us about blow parties. Peggy Noonan, a columnist, is going to tell us about the moment she mocked a former GOP office holder and a Trump loyalist to his face. Was it Lindsey Graham? Wait, Venus, if you're at, like, I don't know which comment by Libertad you're referring to, but one of them is one of my jokes. Libertad was referencing one of my stand-up bits. The thing about masturbation was one of my stand-up bits, which I like. Look at you. I mean, it's one of my best, and I have it on a meme somewhere. This woman said that she would pray for me. I told her that if she was going to murmur my name to herself, to at least do it while masturbating. That way at least one... Oh, you I have it up on screen. That way at least one of us gets something out of it. That dangerous dime bag. Don Jr. definitely did some coke in the White House. I'll leave open the possibility that he didn't. I'll say it at like 95. Just because I don't think Don Jr. actually got to go to the White House very much. So I would say there is like a 5% chance that he didn't. Just because Daddy doesn't like Don Jr. I have a couple of videos on YouTube. It's on the front page if you scroll down. Like, you know, it's below all the Troll Patrol and shit stuff. Probably not my best bits and shit. Producer Dave had me on to do a set on New Year's, I think it was 2020, and I fucking killed. I asked him for the video. He's like, oh, I don't have it anymore. And I'm like, God damn it, man. It's like, that's something like the best I'd done in a long time. I want to eventually get back to it. I was banned from doing stand-up in the city I'm sitting in right now, but that was 7-8 years ago. I mean, like, some of the best performances weren't even filmed. Yeah, because there for a couple of years, I was doing like open mics 2 or 3 times a week. That's how you get good. But so here's the thing. What I first learned when you start doing stand-up, they don't give you no time. Like, you go to like an open mic or something, you're lucky if you get 5 minutes. You will probably get 3 minutes. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, I'm a talker. Well, I mean, I tried to, Venus, but like, I said, I was doing it fucking like 3 times a fucking week. So, like, fitting all my shit in a 5-minute set, difficult. I do much better with like 10-15 minute sets, which once you start, you know, getting a name out there and people start having you like on shows, you'll get like a 10-15 minute set. Those were that was the level I was at. I had kind of, you know, I had proven myself on the open mics and I was starting to get booked on shows and I would get a 10-15 minute set. And I liked that a lot better because I could do a lot of work in 10 minutes. 5 minutes is hard. One time I was in Asheville, and I did a set that I've only done like the one time. I don't even remember all the jokes that was in it. I do know that one was like Tom York dancing. I did this whole thing about like different lead singers and the way they dance. Like I was like, Maynard's like this, and Tom York's like this, and there was a woman, and she ran like the biggest comedy show in the city of Asheville. And she's sitting front and center, and she is staring me down with just like a complete blank expression. It was like, I think it motivated me to be even more energetic. But I'll never forget like her just like sit through my entire set and didn't even crack a smile at me. Aw, Venus. Do I really want to venture down into Florida? Oh, shit. I know what goes on down there. No, I'd fit in well with you weirdos. Peggy Noonan reveals the moment she mocked a former GOP office holder and Trump loyalist to his face. What's the chance that it was Lindsey Graham? Writing their column for the Wall Street Journal on Sunday, conservative Peggy Noonan described one of her New York parties in which a Republican voter implored her to see reason and support President Donald Trump. A former office holder quickly made his way to me to speak of his hero. He referred to the Abraham Accords and the economy and said, surely you can admit he was a good president. She mocked him by speaking slowly since he was all wound up. I will tell you what he is. He is a bad man. I know it. And if I were a less courteous person, I would say that you know it too. She noted that he was startled and didn't reply, stepping back. She assumed it was because he did know it and never expected it to be said. She implied that Trump was close to reaching his Waterloo moment, comparing him to the former French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte, who came up against the first Duke of Wellington and lost. Beef Wellington. Oh, goddamn. What's Trump been up to? You guys seen Trump lately? He made an appearance over the weekend at the UFC event. I don't even remember. Were they in Vegas? I believe Habib lost. This is Donald Trump. Going over to Joe Rogan. What? So he pointed at Rogan. He wanted to come over and talk to Rogan. Ooh, I wonder if his feelings was hurt that he didn't get to do the Rogan podcast. What do you guys think? Do you think in 2020 they tried really hard to get to be on? I wonder if that's a thing. Did the campaign... Wait a minute. Oh, it's AI Trump. The Joe Rogan AI experience. That's why. I was like, Trump was on with Rogan? I don't remember that. I feel like I would have known about that. No, it was AI.
The most outstanding platform out there. And I'm proud to say that we have exclusive agreements in place that ensure that our users will always have access to the most powerful and effective means of communication.
This is a far more well-spoken and composed Trump. What? And far more coherent than Trump would ever be.
That's interesting, man. I've been hearing a lot of rumors about this, but it's good to get the real scoop from you. So what you're saying is that you won't be returning to Twitter, even though you're back on the platform now.
That's correct, Joe. True social is where the action is. It's where the real conservative voices are being heard. It's where we're making America great again. And I'm telling you, it's only going to get bigger and better from here.
So let's talk about Elon Musk buying Twitter. What do you think about that, and what does it mean for free speech?
Well, Joe, let me tell you, Elon Musk is one of the most outstanding entrepreneurs, a true genius of our time. And I've got to say, his purchase of Twitter just shows the world how committed he is to innovation, progress.
Yeah, this is far too composed. Not unhinged enough. Trump would never speak like that. That's 80s Trump. You go back and watch interviews of Trump in the 80s, he was actually, more like that as opposed to the crazy fucking racist great-grandpa he is. Trump's encounter with Guy Fieri at UFC sparks mixed reactions. Former president pictured with celebrity chef at Las Vegas mixed martial arts event. Read up for some reason. There it is. Donald Trump attended an Ultimate Fighting Championship event in Las Vegas on Saturday night after a volunteer event for his Nevada primary campaign. While the former president was met with cheers from the crowd and high-fived supporters at the T-Mobile Arena, his interactions with some of the notable names present caused a mixed reaction online. UFC commentator and podcast host Joe Rogan was present and met with Mr. Trump, but pictures of the former president conversing with celebrity chef Guy Fieri seemed to spur the most scorn and praise. Turning Point USA Chief Creative Officer Benny Johnson, a Trump supporter, posted a picture of the two men on Twitter, referring in the caption to Fieri's catchphrase, "Trump in Flavortown." In the comments, Trump supporters were thrilled to see the two men together, with one Twitter user saying, "My respect for Flavortown and Guy Fieri has gone up." Others said, "Guy isn't afraid of the mob. I knew Guy had good judgment. I knew Guy was one of a kind, but now he is on top of my list, MAGA Fieri." Detractors of the twice indicted, twice impeached former president also didn't hold back, with one writing, "He just ruined his reputation. Literally one of the worst cooks out there. Hang with the worst president ever. Trump is still going to jail." A meme created using the photo reads, "Does Flavortown have an extradition treaty with the U.S.?" Hold on. Fucking shit. We do not need to open character animator right now. Let me see if I can get you pictures of Guy Fieri and Trump. I hate it that some sites don't get the pictures embedded in them. I think because of my ad blocker or whatever. Here is Trump with Guy Fieri. Trump in Flavortown. Fieri has rarely spoken about politics, but he was praised for raising more than $21.5 million in just 7 weeks to help unemployed restaurant workers during the COVID-19 pandemic. Ooh, I remember that. Yeah, mad props to him for that. Also spotted chatting with the former president at the event were controversial Australian actor Mel Gibson, no surprise there, and Republican campaign strategist Roger Stone. Not a shocker. Now, you might have been a little shocked if you were watching UFC and you were expecting to not hear a bunch of N-bombs get dropped. Israel Adesanya. You know me. I have a real hard time with names. I'm sorry. I try my best.
Brother right here. Let's go, nigga. What's up, bitch? Let's go, nigga. Yeah, nigga. What's up, nigga?
Get this shit up.
What the fuck you gonna do, nigga? Yeah, my African brother. Yeah, my African brother. What's up, nigga?
I'm African, but I ain't no brother of yours, son.
You my nigga. Let's go. You my nigga for real. I'll show you.
So what are you saying to everybody?
Brother right here. Let's go, nigga.
So yeah, apparently that caused some controversy. Dana White was asked about it during the press conference, and I cracked up at his answer. So here you go.
I know you say, hey, this is the fight business. People say nasty things, right? But the tension between those two and kind of the racial undertones and all those things, how do you...
What were the racial undertones?
Drigger says...
Buddy, do you know about apartheid South Africa? Aren't you friends with Elon Musk? Holy shit.
He's the real African fighter, and so, you know, Israel dropped some N-words in there tonight.
So what was the racial? Who did? Who dropped the racial?
Israel was saying over and over, yeah. Dropped
He's black.
50 N-bombs in there.
Okay, he's black. Who gives a shit?
I was going to say, so you don't have any concern about the way the build-up, the tension between those two?
I could care less. This is the fight business. Israel Adesanya.
No. He's fucking ecstatic about it. He's totally into it.
They say whatever he wants to say. Who gives a shit? Why, are people bitching about that?
Some people.
Oh, of course they are. Oh, fucking A. All right, got it. Yeah. Too fucking bad.
All right.
Yeah.
Last thing for me, then, I just want to add, you know, I know you say, hey, this is the fight.
I love the attitude. Dana White's a piece of shit. Apparently a wife beater, too. Flash, now that here's the thing, is WWE is now owned merger. It's the same company as UFC. And WWE has an agreement with Saudi Arabia. So they're like 4 years or 5 years into their 10-year contract with Saudi Arabia. So UFC now has a working agreement with Saudi. So I don't know that you're going to see any competitor. I don't know where that, like, I would say you're gonna see, has there been a fight in Saudi Arabia yet? Because if there hasn't, there's gonna be. They're gonna take the cage over to Saudi if they haven't yet. So since we're talking about sports, let's keep with the sports theme, shall we? You guys like baseball? Because I don't. But sometimes funny things happen in baseball, and we want to talk about it.
Here in the first inning.
David Ross came into the first inning. Alex McKay had heard enough. You got one game before the break. You're that bad already? Wow.
That's one of the best lines I've ever heard.
What? You've got to be better. You got one goddamn game before you get a break, and you're that fucking bad already? So now that they're getting ready to go on the All-Star break. This is the midpoint of the season. You're getting ready to go on a break, and you're that goddamn bad already?
David Ross came into the first inning. Alex McKay had heard enough.
Horse shit.
You got one game before the break. You're that bad already? Wow.
That's one of the best lines I've ever heard.
I think he called him dipshit. Like he was done cussing him out, and he's like, dipshit. I love it. I love shit like that. I also love heartwarming stories about elderly puppies finding a forever home and getting a family that loves them dearly so that they can live out the rest of their life in comfort, getting all the loves and treats they deserve. A registered nurse in North Carolina said its dog was found in the streets of Turkey. They rescued this dog from Turkey? This comes from Golden Hearts, a non-profit focused on rescuing homeless pets in Turkey. Had no intention of getting a fourth dog, but I saw Kit. She wasn't in the best shape. She was being a senior dog. I knew she was being overlooked. So has now found her forever home, toys, treats, and affections. Oh. And she's going on a trip to the beach. Oh. Apparently she had some chronic yeast infections. And she had completely broken teeth. Oh, baby. I'm glad you're taken care of now. Get all the love you deserve. I used to think I was a sociopath. Like, that's a weird thing to say. Like, maybe when I was like 18 or 19, I wondered, like, do I have fucking feelings? No, I have a lot of feelings. You show me a puppy like this and I will cry like a baby. Sometimes just looking at an animal makes me cry. So precious. Alright, go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We will see you tomorrow night. Oh, you want an update on this one? I'll do something to bookmark this. Clinically, I think that is just the thing, just being a teenager. I will bookmark this and see if we can get an update. See if maybe we can get some beach photos or pictures, videos, something. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We'll